And we are back here on Katz and Cosby. And I understand, John, we have now Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. John, take it away.
Senator Kennedy, what keeps you up at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Well, John, first, thanks for having me. Look, before I answer your question, I'm an optimist who worries. I think America is the greatest country in all of human history, but we live in a world that is challenging right now. What keeps me up? Number one, and this is not in order of importance because they're all important. Inflation. Inflation is man-made, and that man's name is Joe Biden. It's gutting the American people like a fish. I know that inflation is coming down, and that is a wonderful thing. But the high prices are going to be permanent. All inflation slowing means that it's not rising. Prices aren't rising as fast as they were. I'm worried about the border. It's an open, bleeding wound. Since President Biden has been president, enough folks have come in illegally into our country to create 4 new Nebraskas and 8.4 million people, and we don't have the slightest idea who they are. And I think it's intentional. Nobody's this incompetent. I think President Biden just believes in open borders. And the White House believes that vetting people at the border is racist.
The president of the United States is supposed to keep the United States secure. Has President Biden crossed the line in that area?
I don't think he's done a very good job. I think America is less secure because of the open border. I think America is less secure because of the attitude that the White House has encouraged to defund and disrespect the police. This group running Washington thinks that cops are a bigger problem than criminals. I think the president's foreign policy is based on his perception that strength through weakness. I can't think of a better way to express it. And the truth is that weakness invites the wolves, and Putin is being aggressive in Ukraine, and Iran is being aggressive in the Middle East, and China is being aggressive in the Indo-Pacific because they think they can get away with it.
It's such problems. You know, I've been saying ever since President Biden has gotten into office, the price of oil had doubled, which moved almost $1 trillion worth of wealth from North America to Russia, to Iran, to OPEC nations. And that's what funded Russia to create their war in the Ukraine. That's what funded Iran to have excess money to pay all their Hamas and all their other people.
Well, that's true. And another example, Iran is behind all of the unrest in the Middle East. We know that. We know that for a fact. And the best way to stop Iran is to choke them economically. We put sanctions on Iran's oil so they can't sell it, which will choke them economically, but President Biden won't enforce the sanctions because he thinks it'll make Iran mad. Well, Iran's already mad. They've already said we want to kill all Jews and all Americans. So I just don't understand the geopolitical and the international political philosophy of this administration seems to be, to quote Socrates, in the middle of a bar fight. And we're in a bar fight in Ukraine, in Israel, in the Indo-Pacific. And President Biden wants to quote Socrates and read Beowulf to them.
Thank you so much, Senator John Kennedy. Wow, really interesting
great.
conversation.
He's great,
One smart guy.
Yeah, very interesting. I loved his line where he said, "Weakness begets the wolves." That was a very powerful line, Judge Weinberg, where he's saying
he
that
turns a great phrase.
the world's sensing weakness right now with all the problems that they're seeing, the open border, with everything with Iran, with everything that's going on in the world.